Hi guys, welcome. So I wanted to talk about the IK foamer. I realized I just did a video on it. Many of you have probably watched it. If you haven't, I'll link it down below, but it was only a couple days ago. I'm sure you could find it in my recent videos. So I did a video on the IK foamer, and that was my first day using it. It worked very well. I had really no issues with it. But the following day, it started acting up. So apparently it's a known thing. There are a number of people that are having this issue. But basically what's happening is that the compressor either is kicking on and running continuously and not shutting off when it reaches its pressure threshold, which is not really a problem. Like the canister isn't going to explode because there is this pressure relief valve right here that just pops up and then it just continues to let air out and let air out and let air out and never really reach its set point. Or it won't activate at all, meaning you press the button to turn the compressor on and it just sits there and blinks, even though it doesn't have any pressure inside, it doesn't build any pressure. So, I had an issue with mine. A bunch of other people did apparently as well. I talked to Jamie at the House of Rags, and they removed them from the website because they had other customers that were having the same issue, and they made a post on Facebook. IK replaced mine, so about 4 days later I had a new one show up from IK. I had to email support at the House of Rags, but they asked me for a picture of the serial number, and then IK sent me another one. I will say they took care of it. It is a brand new product. It is annoying when you wait that long for something to come out. We tested these last year at SEMA, which was in November, to have problems, but also it came out the same week as the ShineMate polisher, which we also played with at SEMA. So, the wait time probably isn't abnormal. So this is my replacement unit. This is my original unit. And in all transparency, my original unit did not work. I recorded the original video on Saturday. It didn't work on Sunday. It didn't work on Monday. That was when I reached out to the House of Rags. And then Tuesday morning, I had it sitting on my desk and it was just turned on with no pressure in it. And Tuesday morning, randomly, I'm in the middle of a meeting, a Zoom meeting actually, and the compressor just kicks on all of a sudden, 2 days later. Anyway, so they didn't ask for the old one back, so I guess I could use it as a pump foamer because technically it still functions as a pump foamer. I mean, actually, you could probably drill it out and add a Schrader valve if you really wanted to. But anyway. So beyond that, there were really two things that I didn't love about the IK foamer when I used it on video. The first was the spray pattern, and the second was the fact that it didn't have a weighted tube. What do I mean by that? Well, the tip that comes on the IK foamer is an 85-degree tip, which is a very wide spray pattern. So when you're spraying a car, it'll go from here all the way to like here, but I found that I was like overshooting the car because the spray pattern is just super, super wide, and I didn't really like that. And IK only makes one tip, or it only comes with one tip, which is an 85-degree tip, technically. So I found a solution for that, and then the other thing is the pickup tube that is in the bottle is just a plastic pickup tube with a plastic end on it. And because of the spray pattern being so wide, I found myself trying to angle the machine down in order to make it so that I wasn't getting water all over my cabinets and stuff. And then I wasn't always getting pickup of fluids the way that I would like to. So, there's obviously different ways that you can angle it, and without any sort of weighted tube or flexible tube, it's not going to pick up, stuff that's down here or stuff that's over here, depending on how you're holding it, right? I was actually able to modify this. First off, you'll notice that the tip on this one is blue as opposed to purple on that one. Well, this tip is actually from a Marilex axle foamer. So the tip for the axle foamer fits. The axle foamer comes with two tips. It comes with an 85 and a 45. This is the 45. And you'll see right on the end of it, it says MMAT 45. So that fits perfectly fine. You can pull it out here, we'll see. But, it goes inside the threaded insert just fine. The factory O-ring is right there. Foaming works just fine. And I like a 45-degree tip a lot better than an 80-degree tip for stuff like this. And I tend to use, a 32 or a 40 on my sprayer when I'm washing my car as well. So it's just a lot more consistent. The other thing is you can actually put a weighted tube on here. And I did. So we can see there's a weighted tube with a ball on the end of it, right? Which is kind of nice. And that allows it to, you know, pick up fluids all over the canister. So if I'm holding it backwards like this, you can see that the tube is still at the bottom. If I'm holding it forwards like this, the tube is still, you know, where the fluid is. And the way that I did that, I took the straw, the factory straw that came in here, and I cut about 1 inch off of it. So I've got the factory straw, it goes up into this plastic piece, the gray plastic piece, which is really like a metering assembly. I've got a 1-inch straw there, so it's just sticking out slightly. And then this pickup tube is actually for an IK sprayer, a TR360 sprayer. So I just grabbed one of those tubes, stuck it over the top of the plastic so that it stays on there, and it works really well, honestly. If, like me, you are annoyed by those two issues that the IK sprayer has, there is a way to solve it. And actually, I made this tube a little long. Let me shorten it a touch now that I've tested it out and we know that it works. So here's, you can see what I did. There's the actual tube. It's over the top of that plastic piece. And you can see when I cut the plastic straw, I did so at an angle, so it was easy enough to slip this over it. And I'm sure you can find other tubes that would work for this from other sprayers, but I have a drawer of the IK TR360 sprayer heads, so it worked out well for me to use those. So just make sure you get it on there good, like a 1/2 inch like that. And then we can just stick it right into here. And technically the rubber tube fits in there as well, but I don't think it's gonna stay, so that's why I did it this way. The other thing that I did was I adjusted the dilution. So remember when I mixed up Loki, it says on the bottle, and I realized that people said in the comments, like, well, foam cannon versus whatever. Yeah, no shit. Like, a foam cannon is going to dilute 12:1 to 15:1 internally, where this is going to be using it straight. But it says on the bottle, 2 ounces in a foamer, which is what this is, a foamer. It also says the same thing in a foam cannon, which I'm following the instructions on the bottle. I'm not saying the instructions on the bottle are correct, but you always need to start off with the instructions and then modify from there, in my opinion and experience. So what I have in here right now is 1 ounce of Loki to a full 48 ounces of water. And I've already washed a car with it, so I know the foam actually works pretty well. So let me turn this on. Let's press the button. And one thing that you'll notice is a little bit different is the light is now like a yellow color. It's changed. The old one was green. Got our foamer all pumped up. Check it out. I think that's pretty perfect. Might try just a little bit less Loki in the next batch just to see how it does. I ran the foamer out of product, but using the Nemesis sponge, I have water in the bucket and just go over this quickly. But yeah, I think with these couple adjustments, I'm liking the IK foamer a lot more. You know, I came off that first video. I liked the tool. I wasn't so sure about kind of the process, right? Like the mixtures and dialing some of that in. So I feel like I'm in a much better position now to talk about it. And we'll treat this like a traditional rinseless, where we are using the rinseless sponge, washing the car. You do still end up with a fair bit of foam, which is kind of nice, but also makes the rinse off step a little, I don't know, feels like there's a little bit too much soap left behind kind of thing. But we can always rinse, right? Because rinseless doesn't mean you don't rinse. It's not rinse free. It's rinse less, right? You rinse less. So what I mean is, you know, there's still like a fair amount of soap. And you can take it off with a towel, but it doesn't feel, it feels like there's still a little too much. So just One thing I like about Loki is it does a great job of bringing back the coating. You can see like the beads just kind of running off the car, which is super nice. Grab a Diva rinseless dryer here. So 19 minutes, car is clean. Not bad. Not bad at all. Little detail spray as a topper. I'd call it a drying aid, but people will point out that the car is not wet, as though I don't know it. Sorry. I don't mean to be salty. The comments can sometimes be a really annoying place. All right, there you are. So we washed the car in under 20 minutes. Foamer worked very well, as you could see. I really enjoy the improved spray pattern. I think it makes the machine a lot better. So the Marilex tips are available from everywhere that Marilex parts are sold. You want the axle foamer tips. It's gonna have two in the package. There's one that's dark blue and one that's light blue. I'll throw a link down below in the description, but yeah, it worked really well for me. Zero issues. And hopefully the new one doesn't have any issues. I've been using it now for about a week. This is third or fourth time using it, first time on camera. So, you know, hopefully everything is fine there. And it sucks that they had problems, but at least they took care of it, right? I think that having problems in production is an opportunity to show what your customer service is like, and I think they did a good job. No questions asked. Here's a new unit. Don't worry about sending us back the old one. And box just shows up here and it's got a unit in it. So I really can't ask for more than that. So anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully you're having a great day.